Hello guys, my name is Javier. How you doing? Today I'll be making a video about introducing myself, talking about my country, talking about race identity, sexuality, cultural identification, languages, and whatever now. So let's start out by where I was born. My name is Javier again. I was born in Cuba, Bayamo, Cuba. Um, it's not a place with abundancy. It's not a place where you have, plenty of food. So it wasn't like I was broke. Really, my parents were in the health field, so they did pretty well on themselves. However, there were various times that I actually struggled. The light goes off very often. You spend a good amount of time, without light. That creates a problem. So I was accustomed to not having light for like about 3 to 4 days. You know, firewood. You know, take advantage of the sun, and then when it goes off, sleep. Um, it was 8 years actually. I did spend a good amount of time with my family growing up. I was raised in a hospital basically, and I got to see like the good side about medicine, people helping out, nurses, doctors, and interventions that they'll be updated by now for 50 years. My culture identification, well, as opposed to sexuality, gender, religion, ethnic, whatever. I would say that again, I'm Hispanic, Latino. I speak Spanish. ¿Cómo está? Todo bien. My sexuality, obviously, straight. Gender, male, as you can see, or maybe religion. Mostly of my family, they were raised Catholics. Most Cubans are raised Catholics, and Latins are Catholic. But I came to be a Christian by the age of 21, and then follow the roots from there on. And I did figure out that that's where I belong, and that's my calling, and God spoke to me in that kind of way. Ethnic group, again, Cuban, Latino. In the applications that we did for immigration, not white, kind of like a mixture, but not black, but white. As in background, I do have part of my family is from Spain, the other half is from Cuba, and the other, talk about, there's three different, I believe, somewhere near Europe. It will come back to me. Portugal. Race identity. Again, I consider myself as Latino. I consider myself Hispanic. I like Latin food. I like every type of food that has to be Latin America. Not so much of a fan of European food, but I definitely do have like certain tastes about that. I love Mexican food. Mexican food is one of my favorites. Cuban food, of course, to death. Peruvian food, though I'm allergic to shrimp, I tend to easy up on that. Nica food, Honduran food, Salvadorian food. Again, even Brazil, but that's, religious belief and practices. I am Christian. I do believe in God. I do believe in Jesus Christ. I do believe in the Holy Spirit. I do believe that there's a God above you that made you. And the more I practice medicine, the more I realize that there has to be an intelligent design behind our body. The neural structure, the blood vessels, the heart anatomy, the lung anatomy, even to the intracellular level where you just gas exchange between molecules and conversion of ATP. It's incredible. It's a whole process happening within a microscope. So it's pretty cool. The more you really get into the health field, the more you start realizing that this couldn't be by coincidence, But that's how I practice. That's what I do. I do enjoy community. I do enjoy going to church. I do enjoy going to ceremonies at my church. I do like the I guess the atmosphere and environment that I'm in. Everybody knows, everybody shares your belief. Everybody shares your experience. And there's some things that you can talk about within other people that, to some, you might not believe it, but to others, definitely this is a normal thing happening in a Christian life. My views on society and health practices. Society, as a society, we're going in decline. I know that values are getting trampled over. I know that families are getting attacked. I grew up in a two-parent home, mom, dad at home, both working, grandma, aunt, cousins. I was in a basically in an atmosphere of pure family. I had all my cousins, all my uncles, relatives to just for days, and that loud environment made me accustomed to being social, engaging into my family. I love being with family all the time. As for now, I mean, a lot of values have changed. Most families don't get together as often, it's more like a drag, and it kind of is like everybody's doing their own thing. And I'll check up on you on Christmas, and if I ever see you, I see you. No vacations together, stuff like that. And it's kind of sad, really, but I'm grateful that till this day my family has stayed together, and my family has stayed within one kind of a block. So it's pretty cool. I enjoy that, and I see my nephews in the next generation. I'm trying to make my own generation. So it's pretty awesome to see that and to enjoy it. It's an amazing. I didn't have them for a time. I came here when I was 8. Then 15 years, went by, and I had the privilege of having them come over little by little. And when my cousin started coming over, that's when everything changed. I stopped being alone. Family became family again, and what I missed from back home, I began to have it here. Again, it's very hard for people to really describe the feeling of leaving family at home. I was lucky enough to be in this raffle that we did in Cuba. It's like a lottery, basically. Parents win it, and then you guys come, get a better life. But I came here alone, and then my family stayed together. So they missed me, I missed them, and that was kind of like a big deal. As for health practices, I am very keen to, I was raised in the health field, basically. So checkups, good health, exercise, that was part of my regime, basically, growing up. There was not such a thing like, well, you're sick and then we're gonna have home remedies. No, my parents were immediate. Let's go to the hospital to see somebody, and I want to get you checked out, and I want to see what you have. So I might create the same habits going forward, and I do, as a medical professional, not as a nurse. I do emphasize the importance of taking care of yourself, taking care of your heart, your brain, your lungs, exercise. I was once 216, 217, around there. Unhealthy time, but again, I started realizing that health was important. It's everything, basically, longevity, and especially how you feel inside. It's very important to see yourself the best way possible, and that brings out the best of you physically. Not to have some vanity or ego, but again, a good state of health being is really cool. Do you speak any languages at home or work? Well, at home is Spanish. I can't speak another language like that. It's mandatory. I used to get hit all the time when I was younger, when I was 12 or years old, when I was like, hey, I want to speak English. I want to actually go to school and just have my gringo friends. But at home was a different scenario. You had to talk to grandma in Spanish, or if not, papao. So that created a good balance, because right now I'm bilingual, so I can actually communicate with my patients in a more effective manner. Actually, it does improve the care. Actually, whenever you go inside the room now, and a patient actually says, yeah, you speak Spanish, and you say, yes, sí, hablamos español. Well, that creates a kind of like a bond, and that makes the patient trust you a little more, because you do understand the language. Matter of fact, like, even if going over a little more, being Cuban and being in Miami actually does help too, because you have a lot of Hispanic families. And even if you don't speak, if you're not Cuban, sorry, the fact that you speak language as a Latino, It's great. It's really great because it creates a sense of trust, a sense of you understand me and I understand you, and I will definitely understand everything you're saying, and you will make it easier for me. Matter of fact, I will definitely suggest that some of you guys, if you don't speak Spanish, try. Get to see what's the culture like, and there you go. I do speak a little bit of Italian. I do enough to understand it, and kind of similar to Spanish per se. It's kind of easier, but that's what I'm trying to get to at this point. And at some given time, I will just master it. But yo, it's a good thing that you start building yourself, in a more um, professional manner. The more you know, the better it is. The better you stand out. Um, at work, I gotta speak both, no doubt. I gotta speak both, like Spanish, English, back and forth, Spanglish, whatever you want to do. But again, that is ability that you can have. That's it's a good thing to do. So it's like just like people have Creole, French, and English. That's dope. People speak Portuguese in my job, Korean. They're both interpreters and they're brilliant at it. So it's pretty good. Um, as for anything else, when it comes down to me and how I view my life in altogether, I I was raised in a hospital. I was mostly every Saturday that I can remember, Saturday, Sunday, I was with my family, me and my dad and my mom in the hospital, interchangeably. One worked in phlebotomy. My dad worked in pediatrics. So I got to see like what they did back and forth, how they treated their patients, and quite frankly, when I came here, a couple of years later, that I wanted to actually go into the route of medicine. I found it easy. I found it really relieving, like to be on that field, because I don't know if anyone know if this feeling or not, but the first day of clinicals, I remember that I went to it was Aventura, and I remember that I had my scrubs, my pen light, everything, stethoscope. And once the day was over, when I came back home, I sat my mom down and I was like, "Hey, listen, I need to tell you something. Like today was pretty cool. Like I felt like home, you know." And that made her, come to a realization. You know what? I didn't have to push my boy to this. Like this kid is just he likes what he's doing, and I'm a people person. I love people. I love kids. I love elderly people. I love young, old, whatever. Not. I love interactions with new faces, new characters, stories behind them. It's just incredible, and I think a good way to do so is to be in the hospital. Actually, at least to me, not only you get to enjoy like a conversation, you get to see what they're like, and but you also get to see like the real side, what they're going through, tough times, and be a part of it, which is pretty cool. Most of the times as nurses, we just go medicate, take vitals, give report, and just go home. That's cool and all, and that's fine. But making that connection with your patient, telling them fully well that I will be taking care of you for the next 3 days. I'm in charge of your health. I'll be looking out for you. I'm your advocate. Anything that you need, trust me that I'll do it for you. It creates a sense of union. It creates a sense of trust. It's a bond that you have, you and your patient, and that goes a long way, guys. That really does go a long way. It makes your patient more adamant to taking medications if you're not familiar, explanations that it's all a big blur. Everybody that goes into the hospital, to them it's just a big blur. So as a healthcare profession, it's your responsibility to make their stay pleasant. Nobody wants to be in a hospital. I don't want to be 12 hours. I wish it was 8, but being that I'm gonna be 12 hours, I might just enjoy my job. Have a different conversation. Somebody else, hey, what's your story like? Why are you here? Why do you have a Foley on your butt? But again, it's mostly the interaction. It's mostly the care that you're giving. At least to me, being Latino is like a badge of honor, because what I been through to this day, I'm appreciative of every single thing I did not have at first. I value light, I value water, I value food, I value clothing, transportation. I'm thankful to God that I have everything and more, my family, my mom, my dad, still have them there, getting to see them every single day whenever I want to. That's a blessing, and those things like you can't just take for granted. I do believe that Cubans have a bad stigma because of when they come here they just flaunt, you know chain, whatever not. Some of them are, some of them not. My parents definitely not. They got to work as soon as I got here. They made sure that I had food on my plate, clothes on my back. They made sure that I grew up in a humble environment, and that's how I see myself. I like to help other people. I really want to progress because this is something true. I want to give back, to be honest, but in the way that I want to teach people. One of my favorite parts in nursing is teaching, medication, procedures. You don't know this? Well, look, I got you. Even if you know the answer, you go back to the MAR, or you go back to references, mind references, and then just look up information and then get back to them, and you teach them, and they're very appreciative because they learn, and then they start asking questions on their own, and that's what you want to have. You want to have a patient that actually does advocate themselves, that they know why they're staying there, they know what they're going through, they know what is going to happen, and it's informed consent. So the point is, no matter where I am, no matter what I do, I want to give back in the sense that I want to teach youth, or I want to teach old, doesn't matter, but I want to give back. I would like to teach in a university, just like Miami-Dade. I know there's some wonderful professors, and just to see their motivation to go and teach you guys, and it's not easy to teach nursing students, but find a creative way to reach to them, make the information fun, interact with them, show them skills, show them the truth, but in a softer manner. They will go into the health field anyway. They're gonna be nurses anyway, whoever graduates, and they're gonna find out the harsh truth. Break it down to them. Nobody's gonna babysit you. Nobody's gonna hold your hand. You have a life in your hand, so there's that. Know the importance of caring. That's another big too. And I think that might be my biggest emphasis for at least that when it comes down to health practices. Just care, bro. Like, care to know what's going on with your patient. Care to know what's going on in their life. Care about their health, their condition. One of the biggest things is just imagining yourself in their situation. Nobody wants to be having family member in a hospital. Nobody wants to be in a hospital either way. So I think it's every healthcare professional's job to alleviate that stress. Four walls is not going to help. We're not in the old times that they can actually stroll to the outside of the hospital, catch some sunlight. The sunlight they get is from the actual UV light from the light. So quite recently I did have my dad in the emergency room, and that humbled me a lot, because seeing my own family's mortality, that shakes a bone. But in the end, we are here for a reason. We're here to give back. We're here to serve. I chose that field because I want to feel satisfied, and quite frankly, the only goal I have in my life from here to I reach CRNA or RNP or whatever it is, the doctor, whatever, is to save someone's life. Is to really save someone's life. Actually, that's it. Even if it's chest compressions, even if it's I gave you some medication, knowing full well that, damn, Javi, like, if it wasn't because of you, that patient would have been, expired by now. That's a satisfaction. Because I will say this, through my hands alone, from nurse internship to, or nurse intern to actual nursing residency, I've had already like 4 people expire on me, and it's not something great. You get used to it, no doubt, but that one is gonna make up for those 20 or 15 or 30. Just that one. In the end, I really like what I do. I am seeking to be a doctor in the long run. One of my other goals is to become the primary for my family, have them in my own care. That would be spectacular. That would be amazing, and I know I will be able to take care of them with every bit of love that I have in my heart for them. And that's it. Anything is possible. Shoot your shot. Be confident. Fail, you will. Get up. Advance. Coming from a place that has literally nothing, to having the key to basically the world right now in the hospital. It's a blessing, man. It's a blessing. It's hard work, but once you get there, the sky's the limit. I wish you guys the best of luck in your field. I wish you guys the best of luck in anything you do. Success, and again, the only limits we have in this world is the ones that you place upon yourself. So you see, if I can do it, you can do it.